Hey beautiful people, I'm back after like, I don't know, was it like a month? Yeah, after like a month. Cool thing is I am now up to 27 subscribers, and that's always awesome. I greatly appreciate everybody who is subscribed to my channel, and I want to see more from a up and coming YouTuber out here and stuff like that. So I greatly appreciate that. And I'm almost up to 2,000 views and all. It would be great if everybody who viewed it would subscribe, but that's that's a lot, I guess. Nobody just has like 1,000 something subscribers just overnight, I don't think. Okay, let me not say that because I don't know if that's true or not. So yeah, so today's video is going to be a little different. Usually I would do like a review or something, but my channel is not going to only just be about reviews or hair or makeup or anything. It's confidence and building confidence and how I deal with myself, because as of now in my life I'm on a journey or in a process of trying to love myself more and be okay with who I am and have more confidence in my life. So I made this video to this channel to help with that, and I make these videos so people who want to come along with me on that journey can do that. So I'm going to be talking about like mental health today. I don't necessarily want to call anxiety and depression like mental illness, but I guess some people would say that it is mental illness or whatever. I'm trying not to offend other people who do have the disorder or whatever, but I mean, when you say disorder, it still sounds, anyway, it all sounds sucky. Nobody wants to have an illness and nobody wants to have a disorder. But today in particular, I'm going to be talking about my issues with anxiety and depression and stuff like that. So when you hear like depression, I think the first thing that comes to people's minds are, are they suicidal? Are they gonna, are you gonna hurt yourself? Things like that. Or, a lot of times people will say, oh, it's not that serious, or or something that you're going through is not that serious, just calm down. Those are a lot of the things that I've heard from people before. And then a lot of times other people just don't understand. The only thing that I could possibly, only way I could possibly explain it is you feeling trapped inside of a vessel, and that vessel being your body, that vessel being your mind, I guess, or no, your body. So yeah, trapped inside of your body, and you're the person. You are your mind, I guess, if that makes any sense. So just a quick personal example, and I'm gonna try to get through this because I don't want it to be super long, and I'm not really savvy on like putting them together or anything like that. So I'm gonna try to get through this. So like a personal example is, okay, YouTube. For a long time, people would tell me, do a channel, and in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, I could most definitely do it. I wouldn't care what anybody had to say about me using a laptop camera or whatever. And then on the other side, on the other hand, like in your mind too, you're like, it's like a battle, because I'm kind of contradicting myself. It's like a battle within your mind. It's really hard to explain. This is something extremely hard to talk about, because it kind of doesn't make any sense to explain, but I'm going to try to do my best. So it's like a battle within yourself, having, anxiety. You are like, well, there's 1,000 things going through your mind in a second when you have anxiety and stuff. You're like, okay, well, I could do a YouTube channel, but I would have to do it on on a webcam. But if I did it on a webcam, it would be bad quality. Nobody would watch. People would think I would be corny. You know, you're like thinking about all these things. You're thinking about how people would think of you. You know, how they feel. You're taking into consideration all these things that really just don't matter. They just don't. It just doesn't matter. You know, but when you have anxiety, you think about those kind of things. There are triggers, and I'm starting to realize that and learn that now. When I was younger, it was just like, okay, I'm stressed. I'm really stressed, and I just didn't really know why. Well, I mean, I knew why, but I didn't think it was that serious. Now I'm starting to realize what the triggers are. For me, and everybody and every person with anxiety disorder is different. But with me, it's maybe getting on Instagram and seeing, you know, a girl, you know, whether she's famous or she's just Insta famous or whatever. But when you see, you know, or just people, period, you know, living and they look happy, they look like they don't have a care in the world. And I know that's just on Instagram. You never know what's going on behind, you know, the lens. But, you know, they look carefree, you know, they look comfortable, money-wise and otherwise. You know, they just look really, they're traveling, they dress really nice, they look like they have their life just put together. And so that could be a trigger. Or, for instance, college has been an issue for me, with not being able to afford it, or, you know, because I was going to a private college. So not being able to afford it and things like that. So when I may see, you know, all these people, because, you know, it's graduation season, all these people graduating from college and, you know, doing all these great things. And it's not that I'm jealous. It's more of a, like, maybe an envious thing. Because I don't want to take away what they have. It's more like, dang, I want to be right there with you. And those can be triggers for a person with anxiety. And you're like, well, you think about all this stuff. I mean, something so simple as A Different World is on Netflix now. So A Different World is on Netflix, and then I watch it, and it'd be like, oh, they're in college, they're doing, you know, all this awesome college stuff back in the day, and, you know, things like that. There's subtle things like that could be a trigger for a person with anxiety disorder, and it sucks. And you're kind of just like stuck. You're stuck in your mind. You're stuck. You feel like you can't get anywhere in life. You're gonna be stuck where you are for a very, very long time, because I don't know. It's hard to explain. You just feel stuck, like you're in jail or something. But it's your own mind that is your jail, I guess. And it's stifling. You know, I also think being in high school, middle school and high school and stuff like that when I was younger, and being talked about constantly from maybe fourth grade on up until I'm gonna just say senior year. You know, being talked about constantly and not really having real friends or real people that support you, except for your parents, of course. I think that also played a factor in making me kind of feel how I feel today. You know, I'm insecure about my weight. I'm insecure about, you know, money stuff. I'm insecure about, you know, am I a good mom? Insecure about all this other stuff, which also could be that I may be going through postpartum, but she's almost 2, so I don't know exactly how long postpartum lasts. So that played a part in my being insecure and being anxious and being kind of worried about, because when you have anxiety, you're like, oh my gosh, is that person looking at me? Do I look right? Is everything okay? If there's like something going on, you know, a school play or something, you're like, oh my gosh, is there something on my face? You know, is this skirt tucked in this roll over here because I'm so overweight? You know, that is kind of like when you're having a panic attack, and shit can get real when that happens. there has actually been days that I've just stayed at home and I've cried. And then at the end of the crying session, you're just like, why in the fuck am I crying? What is wrong with me? You don't exactly know what's wrong with you, but you know that you're pissed off, you're mad, you're hurt about something, or you're worried about something, and then then it just turns into frustration, and you're just like, you know, why don't I just get over it? You know, it's just all this stuff. All this stuff. And for other people, it's just so easy for other people to just be like, I'm just gonna do it. You know, like with other YouTubers is a good example. I'll look at other YouTubers and or other entertainers or whatever, and I'm just like, how did they get there? How did they get there? And then you read the stories, the come up stories, like, I just believed in myself and I just made it happen, and it was hard work and all that kind of stuff. But for people with anxiety, it is hard. It's not just regular, oh, it just took hard work. No. We're actually battling our worst enemy, or battling an enemy that's hard to beat, is ourselves. We are literally our own worst enemies when you have anxiety. I mean, it's like the bad devil and the good angel or whatever just on your shoulders, constantly talking to you like, no, you can't do that. You wouldn't look right doing that. If you do that, people are going to talk about you. They're all going to laugh at you. They're so and so and so and so. What are people going to think? Da 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 da. Just a million miles, just a million miles a second or whatever, just constantly. And then you have this, the nice angel, the person over here. Get yourself out there. Good things may come. If you do this or that, good things may come. It's okay. Just calm down and stuff like that. But then, it's rough. It's more than just hard work. It feels like your insides are like wounded. Like you're wounded, you're hurt from the inside. And when your inside is hurting, it's hard to deal with anything else. And I don't know. I mean, I think last night is when I realized that it's kind of hard for other people to really understand what we have going on. You know, I tried to talk to my boyfriend about it, and he was kind of just like dumbfounded. He was like, they try their best, our family members and people who love us and care about us. So, us people with anxiety and depression, they're like, it's going to be okay. Just relax. He said, meditate. He did try. And for me, meditation is kind of rare or slim because I am a mom of a going on 2-year-old. And, all these things keep happening. I got a ticket last night. So that could also be a trigger for stress and anxiety, especially when you're already having like maybe money issues or something like that, and you get a ticket, and you've already got one ticket, stuff like that. And I know to some people it may sound like everyday things, like, oh yeah, that's just, people get tickets every day, but for us it's major. Like if something small like that happens, for us it's super major. The world is coming to an end, and we kind of feel like there's no coming back from this shitty ass day. Even music can trigger depression and anxiety and stuff like that. The kind of music you listen to, if it's super nostalgic and it was during a period in time where you were like super lonely or something, that can cause a attack or something. Like, it's just the whole illness is petty. It's just a petty illness. It should just be called petty. I don't know. I'm not trying to like rub people the wrong way, but that is definitely, it's just a very trivial things that can just trigger some of the saddest feelings in your life. I don't really know how else to just explain that, I guess. The only thing that advice I would give is, if you know somebody who has anxiety or depression, just be patient. Try not to give basic advice like that, because a lot of times I feel like we hear that all the time. It's gonna be okay, just relax. It's not easy to relax when you have mental health issues. And then they say, well, you know, I sometimes my parents or my mom will ask, did you take your medicine? You don't always want to feel dependent upon some man-made medicine to make you feel better. Because for me, it feels like a generic high. It feels like a generic, I'm happy. You know, like there was an episode of The Simpsons, and I think the little girl, she was on uppers or something, because she was depressed, and they gave her like uppers, and like every time she looked around or everything she looked at had a smiley face on it, and it was just like, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, yeah. Or she had like a fake smiling face. It was something. It's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I really am. Trust. I'm okay. It feels like that when I take the medication. So I try to avoid it. But then there are serious times where it's just like, I need something. I need something to hold on to, because my life is sucking right now. And I'm not saying that I'm suicidal. I'm not suicidal. It's just certainly a feeling where you just feel like you just want to give the fuck up on everything and just kind of sit down somewhere and not move, because you feel like nothing is going to get better. You're not going to be successful. You know, you're constantly worried about what people think. So you just want to sit the fuck down in your house and eat or something. But I did want to talk about that. How I'm coping with it, because like I said, I just had like a mini attack or a breakdown last night. How I'm coping with it is just trying to talk about it, I guess. Talking to a camera, but talk about it, I guess. And just get it out. That's how I'm coping with it. Don't hold it in. If you have family members, that's what they're there for. So talk to them. But yeah, don't hold it in. That's one of the worst things that you can do. I would suggest a therapist. I feel like they are very helpful. I have a therapist. I go see a therapist. Medication is not for everybody. It's just not. And it's not always the answer. And I think some good advice is also just try to go easy on yourself. I go in on myself. I'm my worst critic, or my harshest critic. And if you know somebody, just be understanding and aware of what they're going through. It's something internal and you don't even know. You look at that person, they may have a smile on their face, but they are probably dying inside. I mean, absolutely just dying inside. So just be aware and understanding, I guess. And I think in the brown community, we have a lot of, I'm not going to stereotype or anything like that, but in the brown community, people are kind of naive to the whole, oh, you got depression, you know, so that means you want to kill yourself. You know, no, it does not always mean we want to kill ourselves or we want to slit our fucking wrists or anything like that. Like, there are people who feel like that. Yes, there are people who feel like that. But everybody who has anxiety disorder or anxiety and depression does not always want to just kill themselves, okay? You know, they get frustrated, but they don't always want to just take their lives. And I have been professionally diagnosed with it. It's something that I deal with on a daily basis and I've been dealing with for years. I really do think that having people bully you or talk about you or criticize you, like growing up, and I'm still dealing with confidence and stuff, and I know I'm going back, but I really just can't stress that enough, that if you are in school or you know, are kind of an asshole or whatever, just kind of lay off, because you don't know how that will affect people in the long run. I mean, I remember I had an ex And I got on the bus, and he said that he said something about cottage cheese, and that was the first time I had ever heard that. I wore shorts that day, and he said something about cottage cheese, and he was with his girlfriend or a girl or something like that, and he said it like twice, and I was like, what the fuck, what does that mean? And he said something about cellulite, and I think I went home and asked my mom or something, or I just didn't, I wasn't aware. I think I figured it out, but he was talking about my thighs. And I think I had to be in like 10th grade or 11th grade. And I was just like, oh my God, are you serious? Why did he just do that on the bus in front of everybody? You know? And now my confidence and stuff is not where it should be. You know? Or people always calling you ugly or calling you fat or wanting to fight you. Or, you know, especially the boys and stuff in high school. Just, I mean, it was rough. And so I still kind of deal with that kind of shit today. And I hate that. It's like, why do I have to take your bullshit with me into my adulthood? Fuck. You know? And shit really didn't start changing until like senior year, when I started just not giving a fuck and just being a complete and total somewhat asshole to people. You know? To just kind of get people to back the fuck off. And like leave me alone. And yeah, you can talk about me all you want to, but I don't care. Which really you do care, but you kind of just, when you turn into like a badass, you just kind of like, fuck it. And I think at that point I was going into adulthood, so I really stopped giving a fuck what people had to say. My motivation is also my daughter, as well, to just kind of get my shit together and know that I am going to be something, I am going to be successful. Things are going to get better, you know, that she is my motivation. So also, I think if you're a person with anxiety and depression, look for your motivation. Look for something, or that's something or that's someone that will motivate you to, you know, have a reason to finish that day off not feeling like shit, you know. But yes, most definitely talk it out, get it out. Another outlet for me is also fashion and style and things like that. People may not like my fashion, they may not like my style, but that is my way of making myself feel better. So that's very important to me. So yeah, just find your outlet and don't be too hard on yourselves out there, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know how many minutes I've been blabbering and just yapping. Hopefully you guys like understood what I was talking about. I know I'm not the only one out there. I hope that this could possibly help somebody. If it didn't, I'm sorry, but it helps me to get it out. And yes, so thank you guys for watching, and make sure to stay tuned. Bye.